Hello and welcome to the best football show. I am Brian Baldinger at Baldy NFL on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, uh, TikTok, you name it. You can find me at the NFL Network and on this Odyssey app right here. You can download it, like it, subscribe to it. It's all free. And we're here every day, talk football. This one's live. It's open to questions that you might have from around the league. I spent the morning up at the New York Jets doing some film breakdowns for the Jets for their coming game against Denver on Sunday, and doing some things in the podcast world and for Coach Saleh. So it was a good day with the Jets. They're getting ready. Denver coming off a really impressive win in Tampa last week, where Bo Nix played very well. He still has not thrown a touchdown, but he has run for touchdowns now, and he got the ball to his wide receivers last week. They still have yet to really uncork a strong run game right now. So it's kind of up to Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton and Josh Reynolds, et cetera. So that will be going on at Jet Life Stadium, as the Jets like to call it, this coming Sunday. I will actually be there for Compass Media Networks. Chris Carino, my play-by-play partner, myself, we'll be doing the national radio, seeing if the Jets can secure their third straight win in a row. It's interesting. The Jets, there's a lot of stats here. The league is full of stats. You get these every Tuesday after the Monday night game, and I was just going through them early this morning. The Jets lead the league right now after 3 games with third down conversion percentage at a whopping 57%. That's best in the league. You think about it. 50% of all their third downs right now they've converted. And that's a lot of Aaron Rodgers and good running when it was time. But if you can't get that team off the field, he's going to find receivers, whether it's Mike Williams or Garrett Wilson or Lazard right now or Tyler Conklin. I mean, he's going to get the ball to his receivers. He's playing at a real high level right now. So that's that. The questions still remain in Pittsburgh about the quarterback situation. Mike Tomlin gets asked every day. He's getting tired of it. I don't blame him. Justin Fields is the quarterback. So here we go. Are the Steelers legit? Yeah, they're legit. I mean, look at they've given up 26 points in 3 games. That's less than 9 points a game. You're going to win 15 games if you can just score 10 points. And they could do that. Their best offensive player is the rookie center, Zach Frazier. I don't have any question about it. Nobody has a history of centers, starting with Mike Webster. Like, nobody has a history of centers like the Steelers. I'm not putting Zach Frazier in that category. He's played 3 games. But he's their best player right now in offense. He's better than the quarterback, the running back, the receiver. He's better than everybody. He's just a dog, straight dog. I love watching him play. But, the Steelers defense lost Alex Highsmith last week. Nick Herbig. Let me tell you, you want linebackers, just go to Wisconsin. They're all there. I don't care if it's Nick Herbig or TJ Watt or Zach Bond or TJ Edwards or Jack Sanborn or Leo Chenal or Alex Van Ginkel. You want linebackers. Wisconsin trains linebackers better than any college program in the country. And they're all showing up. So anyways, I mean, this Steelers defense, Nick Herbig steps in last week, 2 sacks, sack fumble. This sack fumble changes the game. If he's not doing it, TJ's doing it, or this rookie Peyton Wilson's getting on the field. They are nasty. You think about last week, the Chargers come to town. Everybody's raving about their 2-star tackles, Joe Alt, the rookie, and Rashawn Slater, and rightfully so. Neither one finished the game. J.K. Dobbins came in averaging 9.9 yards a carry. He left averaging less than 3 yards a carry. I mean, the Steelers just melt you down and break you down. Now, they really got to fight for every point. They really aren't. They got the ball to Calvin Austin a little bit last week. Got a couple of explosive plays. Pickens, can show up for a couple of plays. Freiermuth, the one touchdown pass Justin Fields has is to Darnell Washington. I mean, it's tough. But the good thing is Justin Fields, I think, really understands that he doesn't have to be all world right now. I don't want to say he has to be a caretaker or he just had don't turn the ball over. Like all those things, you want every quarterback to do those things. I mean, he's got to still be aggressive. He is a great athlete. He's learning the offense like everybody. I just stay with Justin Fields right now. Just stay with Justin Fields. Like I think the run game is going to open up with him a little bit more. I think they should expect more from him, whether it's design scrambles or design runs. Like I think he can be a bigger part of the run game, especially if Jalen Warren is, maybe questionable this week, and him and Najee. I think they can run a lot of the stuff that we see Lamar running or Kyler or, some of these other quarterbacks out there right now. It's capable of doing that. They need more explosion in their offense. The way they're playing right now, if they get to 20 points, they're going to win every game. The way their defense is playing. What's wrong with the Miami offense? Well, look, you lost your center last year in Connor Williams. Aaron Brewer is not a healthy replacement. They lost their left tackle, in the first game of the season. The quarterback, you're finding out maybe how good Tua really is, and how accurate he is, and how he sees the field and gets the ball to the playmakers. And nothing against Skylar Thompson, but there's a big difference, a big drop-off if Tua's not getting the ball to them. So up front, they're not running the ball well. Teams realize that Skylar Thompson is not the answer. So they're sitting on a lot of these routes right now. They can't get the big play. And then defensively, they got taken apart by, some teams right now. I think there's a new defensive coordinator. We got to see what these rookies, Chop Robinson, some of these guys, do and how quickly they learn. But offensively, they don't look anything like what we're used to seeing. Now, Mostert's been out. Achane has been in and out. They should have a better run game than what they have, but they're leaking right now because, they're hitting their depth already on the offensive line. Clement, left tackle. Like it's just, or Lamb, I'm sorry. Kendall Lamb. It's just not real strong right now. Aaron Brewer at center. Eichenberg. Like it's not Austin Jackson got hurt in one game. He went out. They're down to their depth on the offensive line with a backup quarterback that looks like a backup quarterback. So it's you pay Tua all that money. You want him out there. And look, he's probably, if he does play this year, it's probably not going to be until midseason at least. So they got to find a way to tread water till midseason and hang in there and find ways to win games right now. But it's tough. Jaguars offense. Where do you think the problem starts? Yes. Well, it's always going to fall on the quarterback. He has a wide open Brian Thomas Jr. off play action last week. And, he threw it to DeMar Hamlin. He sailed it. Now, it's his only interception, so I don't want to kill him for that one. But it was wide open. He sailed the ball. He's part of the problem. But they can't run the ball right now. Travis Etienne, Bixby, it's not a good running game. They're without, the tight end that, has caught 100 passes from them right now. He's the guy that moves the change for him, and so they need their tight end back. But they're just, and then defensively, they had no answer at all last week. I mean, Buffalo blew them out, and they've changed defensive coordinators. They paid Josh Hines Allen. Trayvon Walker's coming off a great season. Like it looked like they added good pieces. They added safeties. They're not playing well defensively at all. Like they didn't look like they had any idea what Buffalo was doing. I mean, the motions got them off guard. The shifts got them off guard. They had no idea how to plaster receivers after Josh Allen started moving. The touchdown to Dalton Kincaid in the end zone. I mean, they doubled Dalton Kincaid. Great. Josh Allen breaks the pocket. They took their eyes off him, and Josh Allen threw it to him. The crossing route to Keon Coleman, I don't know, like there's nobody in the middle of the field. It's too easy. But offensively, they're a mess. They're not good. And you think about it now. Is Trevor Lawrence the answer? They have lost 8 straight starts. 8 straight games now with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, including week 18 last year in Nashville when all they had to do was beat a bad Tennessee team and they would have won the division and played in the playoff game. And they couldn't score from the 1 yard line last year. Now, presumably, you upgrade the center position with Mitch Morse. All right. Cam Robinson really struggled last week. They have lost the right tackle, for periods of time. I thought he improved a great deal through the offseason, and Anton Harrison. They're not playing great up front, but, they're paying Trevor. They gave him a big deal, and they added a number one wide receiver, Brian Thomas. It hasn't looked anything like it, and they didn't look like they had any confidence in Trevor Lawrence when he was missing throws and walking off the field and getting blown out like they did. Nothing. You got games coming up over in London coming up. That owner, when you get embarrassed on national TV, nobody likes that feeling. And so I don't feel good about their chances of coming out of this crypt right now, but they've got a bunch of division games, and I don't think the division's nearly as strong as what people thought it might be. Houston really struggled the last 2 weeks offensively. Indianapolis's quarterback is turning the ball over at record rates right now. So, there's still time, but you can't go a whole lot deeper into the crypt when you're 0-3 right now. Let's see. Any chance that Neighbors will barbecue Trayvon Diggs? Well, look, Malik Neighbors, I don't want to get ahead of myself that he's the best Giant receiver of all time after 3 games. I mean, it'd be a little silly to say that. Odell Beckham had a great run. Really good run. But this kid looks really, I saw him live for the first time back in May at an OTA practice, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. I went back there for a mini camp practice. Couldn't do it. I went to a training camp. I saw him in scrimmages. He is an elite talent. Last week, think about this. Last week, the Giants are losing 7-0. It's in the first quarter. It's early in the game. They fumble the opening kick. Cleveland scores 7-0. Look like Giants football. They've got 4th and 1 at their own 43-yard line. And they went for it. That's a gutsy move. And what'd they do? They handed it off to Malik Neighbors on a fly sweep. He outran the entire Cleveland Brown defense. They're all up there. 11 guys on the line of scrimmage to stop. He gained 2 yards in the first down. He got just 2 touchdowns last week. One was a great route, and the other one, zone defense, a hole in the zone. He found it. He catches the ball with 2 hands. He catches the ball away from his body. I say this about him. He has a plan to get open. He has a plan to, get open. He has a plan after the catch. If Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons mentioned it, not specifically to Trayvon, but in his defense in general, if they don't bring their legs with them, like Kalen Carson didn't and Trayvon Diggs didn't last week against Baltimore, this Malik Neighbors will go a long way. That guy is excellent after the catch, and he is strong and fast. You drop your head, you don't bring your legs with you, he'll run right through your tackle. And he's just getting heated up. Now, Daniel Jones played really well last week. You saw the field well. But you look at the targets he's getting. He had 18 targets 2 weeks ago with 10 catches. And in Cleveland last week, he had 8 catches. He's getting targets. The ball's going to him. You get in the red zone, they're looking for him. So Diggs typically doesn't travel. He plays the right corner. Kalen Carson, the rookie, out of Wake. Jordan Lewis is a slot. But Malik Neighbors lines up a lot over the right corner of Dallas. And so, look, last week the line protected Daniel Jones really well. He took care of the football. They have had major issues defending Micah Parsons in the past. If they don't block him better than they have, maybe Daniel Jones doesn't have time to get the ball to Malik Neighbors. But the line, Carmen's done a good job, the offensive line coach. They played pretty well as a group last week. John Runyon at left guard, fitting in. John Michael Schmitz, Van Roten, Illuminar, Andrew Thomas. And that was against a really good Cleveland Brown front. I thought they showed some. I thought they showed some athletic ability to get to the perimeter, but Devin Singletary for the Giants now, like everywhere he goes. I remember studying that kid coming out of Florida Atlantic. His nickname is Motor. He's drafted by the Buffalo Bills. Frank Gore was there in Buffalo when he got drafted, and Frank kind of took him under his wing like he was his oldest son. Now Frank's got a son in the league right now, but like he took him under the wing like he was his son. I remember, I'll never forget Frank introducing me to Motor Singletary. I don't care where he's played, Florida Atlantic, Buffalo, Houston last year, this year already with the Giants. He's going to make you miss. Like he's just a great stop-start guy. He was excellent in the screen game last week. Like he's a legit player. Now he's not Saquon Barkley legit, but he's legit. So Dallas has had a hard time stopping the run. 2 weeks in a row now. It's been awful. Is the Cowboys' run defense fixable, Aaron? Look, I say this all the time. Like, all bad habits can be changed in an instant. I don't care if you're a smoker, if you're a drinker, if you had bad run defense. The Eagles were the worst in the league the first 2 weeks of the season. They were giving up 6.4 yards a carry to both Green Bay and Atlanta. And they went down to New Orleans last week, and they shut Alvin Kamara down. Everything is fixable. But here's two things that have to take place. One, they have to get disciplined in the run fits. I don't care who your coordinator is. Mike Zimmer, Dan Quinn, Bump Phillips. It doesn't matter. Every defense is a gap defense. And you stop the run by being in your gaps. When you play a Hall of Fame running back like Derrick Henry, and you don't have anybody in the B gap, Derrick Henry is going to find the open daylight. He's going to get there. He's just that good. Now, if you're going to be out of your gaps and you're going to be undisciplined or you get blocked, it happens. You better start tackling better. So the tackling by Trayvon, by Kalen, by Donovan Wilson, they all missed tackles and they led to big runs. And if I was the Giants, like I saw the Cowboys from the opening drive last week, unable to stop a basic read option plays that Lamar Jackson has been running since he was in high school in Pompano Beach, Florida. Like they looked totally surprised. They didn't have an answer for it. I spent the morning up at the Jets, and I was talking to Bart Scott about how they handled, option quarterbacks or wildcat runs. And he drew up run defenses that he still remembers. And that it's assignment football. One guy's got, the dive, one guy's got the quarterback, one guy's got the pitch. Like you can vary it, but I don't care what the offense is. If you're running, if you're defending Baltimore's or you're defending Daniel Jones, he'll run similar plays to Lamar, not as often, but they'll do it. I mean, it's about discipline in assignment football. They should be better than that. I don't care who the coordinator is. So is the Cowboys' run defense fixable? It is, but they've got to be a lot more disciplined than what they have shown last week. Seahawks-Lions game, Monday night's going to be a great one. Look, the Seahawks have played 2 weeks in a row without Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet's been in there. He's been fine. They've been playing with backup offensive linemen at right tackle. I don't know what number they're at right now, but backup right tackles. Geno Smith's playing great. But ultimately right now, like I've got all the stats here, defensively, they were terrible last year. They were 31st in defense last year. But if you look at them right now, under Mike McDonald, the quarterback rating against the Seattle Seahawks right now is 67. Teams have thrown one touchdown pass against them. They are averaging 4.6 yards an attempt, amongst the lowest in the league. They're surrendering 60% completion. They're not giving up the deep pass right now. So, and look, Detroit, they basically won the game last week on hook and lateral. I mean, they had a hard time putting Arizona away. Their third touchdown was at the very end of the first half. I think there was like 20 seconds left in a half, and they ran a hook and lateral between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, and they went 20 yards for a touchdown. That's the last time they scored. The week before, Tampa Bay shut them down. Now, you don't see Jamison Williams going deep. Sam Laporta doesn't look like the same player from a week ago. They did get the running game cranked up last week against Arizona, better than they had the week before. This should be a great game. Like, anytime you have DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, you've got three guys that can hit a home run from anywhere in the passing game. And Geno is mobile, and he sees the field well. So I think it should be a classic matchup. Now, Seahawks are used to playing in a noisy stadium, Ford Field. They haven't had a primetime Monday night game probably in a while, I'm guessing. This should be classic. But I have not seen a great Lions offense so far. In fact, if I just looked it up here, this is what the Lions have done here in the first 3 weeks. Like, they started off right against Kansas City, or against the Rams. They won in overtime. They had 20 points at the end of the regulation. They scored 16 against Tampa and lost, and they scored 20 last week. They've basically been a 20-point offense. So, and Goff is a big part of it. I mean, you ask about it. He's thrown the 4 interceptions. He's completing, a decent percentage, 2/3 of his passes. But, Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is catching a lot of balls. He's getting 10 yards a catch. He's your possession receiver. It doesn't look like there's a great rhythm to what they're doing offensively. And I don't see the play-action pass game right now really taking off. But you think about it, okay, they scored 26 against the Rams to win in the opener, but they had to go to overtime, and they ran the ball down the field in overtime. 5 of the 6 plays to go 70 yards were all runs. They ran the ball in overtime. So, the interceptions are real. You got 4 interceptions in 106 attempts. Nobody wants to have an interception every 25 attempts right now, 26 attempts. So he's got to cut that down. And, last year he took care of the football. So it's an issue right now. But, it's early. Like I said, they won that game last week on a hook and lateral. It wasn't even, a throw, to Jared Goff to Jahmyr Gibbs. It was the throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown on a little dig route and a flip. They needed a trick play from Ben Johnson, perfectly executed, in order to get to 20 points against Arizona, and didn't score in the second half of the game. Didn't score in one possession in the second half. So Arizona was in the game the whole way. What's wrong? I think Jared Goff be the first to tell you he's got to play better. I think the run game is still very, very good. It was good last week. Good 1-2 punch of Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They got back on track after kind of falling off. I thought the week before against Tampa, honestly, I know they only scored 16 points. I thought Tampa defended the pass as well as you can. I think they defended 10 passes. Zion McCollum had 4. Jamel Dean had 2. The interception by Itzian was a poor throw by Jared. So, there's time, but they're going to see a really talented secondary this week of Seattle. Now, Matt LaFleur, the guy can coach. Think about this. You lose Jordan Love at the end of your first game in Brazil. It's unfortunate. Fortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to miss that much time. You had just made a trade, for Malik Willis to be your backup quarterback, and you just make the trade. There he is on the field at the end of the game. Malik Willis just has played 2 phenomenal games in a row. And let's face it, the offense was built around Jordan Love. But since Malik had to take over, they completely changed the offense. There are 2 tight ends, Tucker Kraft, Musgrave, they're on the field. Kraft is their move tight end. They're in pistol. They're in power pistol. They're running read option. They're doing a lot with Malik to take advantage of his running skills. But, you look at the opening drive last week. They scored, went the distance on the opening drive last week. It was unbelievable, actually. The first play is a 30-yard shallow cross to Jaden Reed. They throw a spray fade to Christian Watson for 30. And Malik Willis takes a 5-yard read option in the end zone for a touchdown. Like, they were on the board in less than 3 minutes to start that game. And Malik Willis looks so comfortable throwing the ball and checking it down. I mean, it's 2 games in a row now. He's got a quarterback rating of well over 100. Hasn't turned the ball over. He's thrown 2 touchdowns. That's coaching. That's Matt LaFleur. It's a credit. He changed defense coordinators this year. That's paying off. That was the right move. They're playing better defensively. It's early, but when you look at, coaches of the year, Kevin O'Connell, right, Matt LaFleur, I mean, there's some guys that jump out right now. Mike McDonald got an undefeated team. There's some teams or coaches. You look at Sean McVay, 2-1 with all of the injuries to the offense line, the receivers, all the injuries they have sustained. And here they are, beating San Francisco last week, 2-1 right now on their way to Chicago this weekend. But Matt LaFleur is certainly in that category. Now, is Mike McDonald's absence to blame for the Ravens' downturn in defense? Well, I thought they played much better last week. But let's face it, right now, they're not sacking the quarterback the way they were a year ago where they led the league. They're not taking the ball away, although they've got 2 interceptions. They're not taking it away the way they did last year. They gave up the fewest points in the league last year, yet this year, everybody has scored. I mean, I know Dallas scored a lot in the fourth quarter, so I'm not going to get too crazy. But you got to give Zach Orr time. It's going to be different than Mike. He's got different personality. He doesn't have Jadeveon Clowney this year. He doesn't have Patrick Queen. There's guys that are missing. Geno Stone had a bunch of interceptions last year. So, they're missing guys that they had last year. Mike McDonald took some of his coaches with him. So some guys are gone. So I'm not ready to write Zach Orr off. I thought they played real well for 3 quarters against Dallas and really shut them down the run game. And I thought, look, Dallas scored a bunch of points, in the fourth quarter of that game, when the game was basically in wraps. So I'm not going to get too crazy about it. But I would say that, when you look at Baltimore's run defense, that looks as good as ever. I mean, that's the Ravens defense. I mean, they're giving up, 2.8 yards a carry right now. I mean, every defensive coordinator in the league would sign up for that. And it always starts with that. Chuck Smith is their pass rush specialist. It looks like he's unlocking Oweh right now. He looks like he's becoming a force. So I like what Chuck Smith does. He actually coaches every single position to rush the passer. And let's face it, I thought Kyle last week had his best game at safety, and the way that they used him. They used him in a variety. I'm talking about Kyle Hamilton. I thought for the first time, I felt like they used the skills of Kyle Hamilton, whether it was blitzing, covering the tight end, robbing the middle of the field, dropping into the deep half, like whatever they asked him to do. I don't even think you can call him a safety. I think he's just a defender. Like, he can line up anywhere. And so I think, let's see what happens this week. They play Buffalo. Buffalo is coming off a great game. So let's just see what happens here. When they line up for that game. But regardless, I think Zach Orr is starting to turn things around because they look pretty good the first 3 quarters of that game. So listen, that's been a half hour of taking 10 questions. We want to do this every week. This has been the Best Football Show live. You can watch this on Twitter. Next week it'll be on Twitter and Instagram. I love doing it. We had 16 games last weekend. I've watched 14. I still have 2 games to get to. I plan on getting to those today. And I only tell you what I see. I don't read what a lot of people have to say. I look at the stats. I use my own eyes to make my judgments. But I want to thank you for joining me on the Best Football Show today. Catch me almost daily on this free Odyssey app. Download it, like it, and subscribe to it. Catch me on Instagram and Twitter And I look forward to talking to you real soon, everybody.